Hey, y'all. This is the first set percentages, and it's a percent of a fraction whose denominator is 100. So anytime you want to change from a percent to a fraction, you just need to remove the percent sign and divide the number by 100. Now, if you can reduce, reduce. But if you can't, let's just leave it as it is. So for the first one, you just take the 8 and divide it by 100 and remove the percent sign. This can be reduced, right? Because 8 is divisible by 2, and so is 100. All right. So if I divide both of these by 2, we get 4 over 25. Now, I would accept 8 divided by 100 because that is truly a fraction replacing the percent. Either way, they're both right answers. We're going to do the same thing with these next few, and then we'll go from there. All right, I'm going to do another one. So we're going to change the percent to a fraction. I'm going to take 19 divided by 100, and there's no percent sign. I'm done. I want you to pause the video and attempt the 78% going to a percent to a fraction, and then 135%, and then come back and see how you did. Okay, so 78 divided by 100, we can reduce that. I do know that 78 is divisible by 2. It gives me 39. And 100 divided by 2, because they're both even, is 50. Ooh, this was wrong. 100 divided by 2 is not 25. It's 50. I am losing my mind. So this is 4 over 50, which is still reducible, which reduces to 2 over 25 when you reduce them both by 2 again. I would accept this. I would even accept that. It just needs to be, if you're already reducing, just keep going. The 19 over 100 looks great. Either one of these are acceptable. The big thing is the percent sign is gone. And then this last one is 135 over 100. They're both reducible by 5, but just to get it in that position there, to understand that to change it from a percent to a fraction, you drop the percent sign, divide by 100. To me, that's huge. That's what you need to understand now before going into your next class, okay? I do want to show you the reducing. I know they're both reducible by 5 because 135 ends in 5 and 100 ends in 0. So I'm going to divide them both by 5. 135 divided by 5 is 27. And 100 divided by 5 is 20. So I would accept either one of these answers perfectly fine. Now we're going to convert from a percent to a decimal. All right. To do that, to go from a percent instead of to a fraction, we're going to go from a percent to a decimal. And this is what we're going to be using the most of. Okay. The first thing you do is divide by 100, and then you're going to remove the percent sign. So to change this from a percent to a decimal, you're going to take the 9, and this is what you're going to do on your calculator. You're going to take 9 divided by 100 equals. So 9 divided by 100 equals, and that's 0.09. Okay. Do the same thing with the 2%. In fact, go ahead and do that all the way down. Pause the video for each one if you need to, and come back and see it. Make sure you're on track. The next one is going to be 2 divided by 100. The percent sign is gone once you do that. And that is 0.02. I like to put the 0 out in front of the decimal just because it helps me know that it is truly a decimal. It is not something else that it could be. The next one is 71%. Again, pause the video if you're in between. So 71 divided by 100. And that's 0.71. We're going to be doing this a lot when we're not only just in this class, but in our next class as well. The next one is 125%. Again, pause your video. 125 divided by 100 equals, and that's 1.25. And then the last one on this page is 250%. To change it to not being a percent, just divide it by 100. and get rid of the percent sign. Okay. I know our class is rounding to the 10th place. With something like this, you don't ever want to round to the 10th place. Okay, this is something you would actually use to calculate something. That's what we're trying to learn how to do this for. The next one is 39.3%, 6.4%, 18.4%, and 37.5%. Attempt these and come back and see how you did. So this is going to be 39.3 in your calculator divided by 100 equals. So 39.3 divided by 100 equals, and that's 0.393. The next one is 6.4%. So 6.4 divided by 100 is equal to 0.064. Next is 18.4%. You're going to divide that by 100. And I got 0.184. And then the last one is 37.5%. So 37.5 divided by 100. And that's 0.375. All right. Now we're going to take it a different direction. Same concepts. We're going to go from percent to a decimal, but now we're going to throw some words in there because what you're going to see, especially going into your next class, is a lot of word problems. So I want you to get acclimated with that now. In the year 2000, 4.2% of the United States population was of Asian descent. And it says convert each percent into a decimal. Well, our percent is 4.2%. To change that to a decimal, take 4.2 in your calculator, divide that by 100 and hit your equal sign. 4.2 divided by 100 equals, and that's 0.042. The next one, according to the U.S. Census Bureau, among Americans aged 25 or older who had doctorate degrees in 2014, 37.1% are women. We're converting the percent to a decimal. So you need to identify the percent, 37.1%, and we want to convert that to a decimal, 37.1 divided by 100 equals 37.1 divided by 100 equals, and that's 0.371. I would like for you to pause the video and do this next one yourself after I've read it. Javier will choose one digit at random from 0 through 9. The probability he will choose 3 is 10%. Find the percent in that sentence or those sentences and convert it to a decimal. Pause the video and do that. So it's 10%. To convert to a decimal is 10 divided by 100. Gets rid of the percent sign. 10 divided by 100 is 0.1. Next one. A club sells 50 tickets to a raffle. Osvaldo bought 1 ticket. The probability he will win the raffle is 2%. Okay, so pause the video, find the percent, and change it to a decimal. Our percent is 2%. To change it to a decimal is 2 divided by 100 equals, in your calculator, and that's 0.02. All right, now we're going to convert from decimals to percents. These are the two things you're going to have to do the most of going through the next class. You're going to have to go from decimals to percents and percents to decimals. So this next one, we're going to learn how to convert from decimals to percents. You're going to multiply the decimal by 100 and add the percent sign. That's it. So this 18 is just our next number. So 0.03 is the problem. And to change it to a percent, I'm going to take in your calculator 0.03 times 100 and hit your equal sign. 3 times 100 equals, and that's 3. And now I need to add the percent sign. Okay, that is my answer. Decimal to percent. I'm going to do the next one, then I want you to pause the video and do the next one yourself. 0.15 to a percent is going to be 0.15 times 100 and that's 15%. Don't forget your percent sign. 1.56. Now pause the video and do the rest of these yourself. This is 1.56. This is just 4, 0.008, 0.0625, 2.2, and 2.317. Just because these numbers are in numerical order so that you know which problem you're working on. So 1.56 times 100 is 156%. Don't forget your percent sign. 4 times 100 is 400%. 0.008 times 100 is 0.8%. Don't freak out that it is a decimal. It's still a percent because it's been multiplied by 100. This next one is 0.0625 times 100 is 6.25. Don't forget your percent. 2.2 times 100 is 220%. And then the last one of this style is 2.317 times 100. 2.317 times 100 is 231.7%. All right. To convert from a fraction to a percent, this is easier than going the other direction, I promise you. And I gave you the exact steps to do. Divide the fraction, hit equal, multiply by 100, hit equal, and then add the percent sign. I'll show you. In your calculator for this first one, you're going to go 1 divided by 5 equals times 100 equals, and then you're going to add the percent sign. So 1 divided by 5 equals times 100 equals. And so my answer is 20, but not just 20. Do not forget the percent sign. Okay. 5/8 is just 5 divided by 8 in your calculator equals times 100 equals. 5 divided by 8 equals times 100 equals. And that's 62.5%. I want you to pause the video and do the next two yourself. 9 divided by 8 is 9 divided by 8 equals times 100 equals. 9 divided by 8 equals times 100 equals. Is that 112.5%. And then the next one, 5/12, again, pause the video if you're still with me, is 5 divided by 12 equals times 100 equals. Ah, this one's different. Let me make sure I'm doing this right. 5 divided by 12 equals, yep, I am, times 100 equals. Now, our class decided when we did this that we were going to round everything to the 10th place, or which is one decimal to the right. So I'm going to show you how to do the rounding right now. I'm going to write 41.66. This isn't my answer because I'm going to show you the rounding part. We're going to round one decimal place to the right of the decimal. Okay, that's the 10th place. We're going to round to there. If we're going to round one decimal place, that means that's my rounding digit. And I call it RD for rounding digit. What we need to know is one digit to the right, that's our test digit. Okay. If our test digit, so this is the thing, if the test digit is 5 or greater, you add 1 to the rounding digit. If the test digit is 4 or less, you leave it alone. You leave the rounding digit alone. All right. In this case, our test digit is 6, which is greater than 5. So we have to add 1 to our rounding digit, and then our test digit will go away. So our answer is 41.7% for the rounding. Okay. Last page. Number 30. We're going to take 3/7 and change it to a percent and 5/9. please pause the video, attempt this yourself, and then come back and see me. Make sure if there's rounding involved, you round it to 1 decimal place to the right. All right, I'm going to go 3 divided by 7 equals times 100 equals 3 divided by 7 equals times 100 equals. So I've got 42.85. I'm writing it all so that I can make sure and do the rounding. 8 is my rounding digit. 5 is my test digit. 5 is 5. So I have to add 1 to my rounding digit and get rid of the 5. So my answer is 42.9%. Okay. 5/9 is 5 divided by 9 equals times 100 equals. 5 divided by 9 equals times 100 equals. And I got 55.55. I'm going to stop right there. It's a percent. My rounding digit is this first decimal place. My test digit is 1 next to it. It's a 5, so I have to add 1 to my rounding digit and get rid of my test digit. So my answer is 55.6%. Okay. Next thing, it says convert each fraction to a percent. This is 1/4 of washing machines needed repair. Okay, so we're going to change 1/4 the fraction to a percent. All right, so 1/4 to change to a percent is 1 divided by 4 equals times 100 equals. 1 divided by 4 equals times 100 equals is 25%. And then the next one, according to the National Center for Health Statistics, in 2012, 7/20 of American adults were obese. So we take 7/20 and convert it to a percent. Pause the video and attempt this one yourself. 7 divided by 20 equals times 100 equals. That's what you put in your calculator. 7 divided by 20 equals times 100 equals. And I got 35. 35%. So 35% of American adults were obese. That's the way you can look at that instead of the fraction. I think that makes more sense. The next one is complete the table. We're going to go from a fraction to a decimal to a percent. We're going to take this decimal, make it a fraction and a percent. We're going to take this percent, do both of these. 1/3, decimal and percent. 0.008, a fraction and a percent. And then we didn't do 2, but we can and make it a decimal and a percent. So let's start with the first one. Pause the video, attempt to do as many of these as you can using the notes you've already taken, and then come back to check to see how you did. Okay. So 1/2 to change it to a decimal is just 1 divided by 2 equals 0.5. So I'm going to go ahead and do that same thing with anything that's a fraction that needs to be a decimal. I'm going to take 1/3. 1 divided by 3 equals, and that's 0.3 continuous. Now, this one, you're going to want to put a line over it with a decimal. When you want to turn it to a percent, that's when you're going to want to do the rounding, okay? And then 2 in decimal form is just 2, okay? To go from decimal to percent is taking that 0.5 times 100, which is 50, because you have to multiply it by 100. And don't forget your percent sign. To take 0.45 to a percent, multiply it times 100. So that's 45%. To go from 0.3, this is the why I didn't want you to do this one. I want you to have all those, as many threes as possible, times 100. Now's when you would round. So that's going to be 33.33. Let me see what that's going to give me. That would be 33.33%. That's my rounding digit. That's my test digit. My test digit is less than 4. So I'm just going to leave my rounding digit alone and just get rid of my test digit. So my answer is 33.3%. Okay. 0.008 to a percent is 0.008 times 100. And that is 0.8%. And then 2 to a percent is just 2 times 100, and that's 200%. All right, let's come over here and go from Well, we've got a decimal we need to take to a fraction, so that's going to be 45 over 100. I'm fine with you leaving it like that. I've got 0.008. This one's going to be weird. 0.008 divided by 100. Oh, I don't want to do that. The problem with this one is because that 8 is in the thousandths place. So I really don't want to, this one can be very confusing. I don't think I want to do that one into a fraction. And it's not going to be anything you're going to use anyways. What's more important is that you know how to go from a decimal to a percent and a percent to a decimal for this value. We will never use fractions for this once you get to the next class. So I'm not going to cover that. Taking the 18% to a decimal, to go from a percent to a decimal, remember you have to divide that 18 divided by 100. I don't know what I'm doing. 18 divided by 100 in your calculator. So 18 divided by 100 is 0.18. And then to change it to a fraction is just 18 over 100. Okay. The next one is, oh, that's it. It looks like everything else is filled in. Fantastic. All right, let's go look at the everyday math. And there was something I changed on this. Ryan has 25% of his paycheck automatically deposited in his savings account. Ah, here it is. Write 25% as a fraction. No. As a decimal. We will never use the fraction when we're calculating. We just won't. Use the answer from A to find the amount that goes to savings from Ryan's $2,400 paycheck. Well, to change 25% to a decimal, we have to take 25 divided by 100 and hit equal in our calculator. And I got 0.25. Notice that the percent is gone. For B, 25% of his paycheck is 25% of 2,400. Well, that's going to have to be 0.25 times 2,400. It's a fourth of it. 0.25 times 2,400. Oh, that's divided. 0.25 times 2,400. We'll get this right. $600. So $600, don't forget the symbol, goes to savings. All right, that's the end of this lecture. Let me know what questions you have. Have a great night.